Sound check. Hmm. Testing sound. Hello. Testing. Hello. Test 1 2 3. Test 1 2 3. Can you hear me? All right, all right, all right, all right. Hello, hello, hello. Can you hear me? I've been having some audio issues, so I'm hoping this is going out. Everything looks like it's going out on my end, but I just want to make sure you can hear me. Let me know in the chat. I'm doing my Friday show in the mornings. So I'm going to be doing. Oh, well, I didn't know if you could hear my mic or not because I can't hear my mic. I'm hearing the music that I was playing in the background, but I'm not hearing my mic. So I am doing the Friday show in the mornings, and the Wednesday show has been at night since I started it. So, and then Saturday, we're just doing an extra live stream Saturday that we decided to throw in there. You couldn't hear the music. Well, that's weird because there's been music playing the whole time. I'll have to look into why the music was not coming through. That's good to know, though. All right. So, but yeah, I've been because I had music playing in the background on that. Weird. See, I can't hear myself. That's the thing with my monitor. Even with my monitors, Restream is not playing myself back, but I'm hearing the OBS music. So I'm still trying to figure out how this works. But you could hear me say testing when I popped in. Okay. Well, that's what I'm not getting my mic background, but I was getting the music playing, probably coming through OBS. So I don't know. I'm still trying to figure out all the technical issues, but we're going to go ahead. So today's show is about how to attract the right subscribers to your channel. When we started, one of the biggest struggles that we've had, and we've seen a lot of people struggling with, is building subscribers, getting the right audience to come to you and come watch your channel and see what you have to say, and not just come back one time and see a video, but to come back over and over again and to get invested into you as a creator, as well as coming back to learn from you and see what you have to say. And so that's what we're going to be talking about today. We're going to be talking about three aspects of bringing and attracting subscribers to you. And we're not talking tactics. We're not talking the physical things that we do on YouTube, because that's not what the show's about. This is the Inspired Tuber show, where we share with you the mindset that you need to be successful as a YouTuber, so you can be inspired as a creator and you can inspire your audience. That's what this show is about. So the question of the day to start with is, how are you gaining subscribers right now? What's the number one way that you're getting subscribers, whether it's a few or a lot? Are you networking a lot? Is that how you're getting subscribers? Like, that's how we built a lot of our subscribers. It's not through search. It's not through recommended traffic. It's been through networking and us sending people to our channel. And so we're gaining search traction. We're starting to get some videos showing up in search and bringing in a little bit of traffic that way. And we're getting some subscribers that way. But our primary source of subscribers up to this point has been through networking. And that's a lot of how we built the Storage Scavenger channel, was through networking with other channels. But I know a lot of people get traffic in other ways. So leave me a comment down in the chat. And if you're watching this on the replay, leave me a comment below after the video and let me know how you're getting subscribers right now. And there's really three key areas of our inner world that we talk about here on the Inspired Tubers show. We have the mind, we have the body, we have the spirit, and we incorporate areas of all three in how we get people to our channel, how we bring people to us. We don't go out a lot of times and promote ourselves. We don't go around telling people, hey, come see my channel. I do YouTube growth strategy most of the time. Instead, what we do is we do some of that, but most of what we do is just going out and serving other people where they're at and serving people on other channels. And we attract people to our channel through doing that. And sometimes it's slow growth at first when you start doing it that way. It's a lot slower than some of the other ways and the more forceful ways. But with the subscribers that we do get, tend to stick around longer, and they do tend to come around and watch our videos. They may not watch us always when we're on our live stream. You know, I get a lot of my live streams. We might get 5 or 10 people that come to the live stream overall. But then other times we get a lot of people that come and watch our live streams on the replay. And especially doing this late at night, you know, we don't get as many of our viewers watching while we're live unless it's on the weekend. But we get a lot of them that watch it the next day. So that's where we'll get 50, 60, 70 views on some of our live streams on the replay within 24 hours of doing the live. And being a small channel like we are, you know, we're hoping someday that those will be in the hundreds and possibly thousands. But right now, with where we're at, that's a pretty decent replay value for our live streams. And then are we getting people to stick around and watch? And that's one of the things that we're working on now. You know, we've been focused a lot on thumbnails, which we're doing our finale of that thumbnail section. We've got two more videos and a live stream on the thumbnail series coming up. So we got 2 more videos on thumbnail Canva stuff. And then we're doing our live stream on Friday. The Conversations on Content Friday morning at 10:30 is going to be on 5 huge mistakes that we've made in our thumbnail designs as we've been growing. So if you haven't caught that show, or if you haven't set the reminder, the link is in our homepage already. It's already set up there. And you can set that reminder for the show. A lot of networking from this channel. Yep. And see, that's what I do, is a lot of networking, especially early on, because early on, YouTube doesn't know what your channel is about. Early on, until they start getting some data from your channel on who to share your videos with. And this is the problem, because YouTube's trying to figure out, especially when you're new, they're trying to figure out who to share your videos with. So that's why the first of the 3 things that we want to talk about is your mindset. We want to talk about how you think about your subscribers. Think like YouTube thinks. When you bring your thoughts into alignment with what YouTube wants and with what the viewers want, you're going to attract more people to your channel. You're going to attract more subscribers to come in to see what you have to say. Hello, Pixelpia. I hope you're having a fantastic day. Thank you for coming by. We are having a fantastic day ourselves. So we have been working on things. I've been playing around with Restream a little bit since Sally got me to sign up for it. And I got to say, there's some things I like about Restream more than StreamYard. The one reason why I like StreamYard over Restream is the price. The price of StreamYard is a lot cheaper, but Restream does have a lot more options and a lot more features than StreamYard. We are multi-streaming this, by the way. We are streaming right now to Periscope, so our Twitter account. We're also streaming to our Facebook page for Inspired Tubers. And in fact, if you're not following us, we are on Twitter, YouTube, Instagram, and Facebook at Inspired Tubers. And you can find us all around the web. And that's one of the reasons I like this. By the way, I did figure out I can do the same thing with the OBS that I'm doing for Restream with StreamYard. So I can actually do all the scenes and everything and stream them to StreamYard as well. But evidently, using the virtual cam evidently is not streaming my sound through OBS. Just my visuals. So it's working as a camera, but it's not streaming my sound. My sound is coming independent of OBS, which is why you didn't hear the music. So we got to work on that and figure out if there's a way I can bring the OBS music into the stream. Uh, Otherwise, I just have to cut out the music. You didn't get your screen share to work, but you tested it later and got it to work. Yeah, I haven't done screen shares yet on here, so I'm not sure how that works yet. You're not sold on Restream. Well, I have to say this. If you're new to streaming and you just want a very basic, simple stream, stick with StreamYard. I like Restream because of the more advanced features and because I'm technically savvy enough to be able to utilize some of the more advanced features, and I want to bring some of those more advanced features into my stream. If you don't want those advanced features, if you're not going to be using those advanced features, then it's not worth the extra expense. But if you're using those extra features, it is worth the extra expense. So, hello, Matt. Thanks for joining us today. So, we were talking about how to think like YouTube thinks. That's the first part of attracting the right subscribers to your channel. Thinking like YouTube thinks and thinking like your viewers think. Remember, the number one thing that YouTube wants is viewer satisfaction. So if everything you're doing is trying to satisfy the audience, trying to add value to the audience, and it's more about what am I doing to serve you? See, I see a lot of people that are putting content out, and I'm not saying everybody, I'm not saying y'all are doing this personally, but I see a lot of people that are putting out content that's selfish. It's all about them. And we've all done it at times. I've done it at times. But it's more about I'm going to put out this piece of content and this is what I want in return. And it's all about what they get in return. And when you put out content that way, though, it turns off the viewers. It turns away the viewers. And it gets people to not want to come back to your channel. And so this may be why you're not building subscribers. If you're turning people off by the way you talk to them, by the content you put out. And this goes from everything you do, from your titles, your thumbnails. You have to speak in a language that gets their attention and that gets them to want to watch your videos. And when you do that, naturally, you're going to get more people clicking on your videos. You're going to get more people watching your videos. You're going to keep them watching longer. Now, there's a balance you have to find because you need to be you and you need to bring your own personality to what you do. Whether you're like me and Adrian and Shelly and so many other YouTubers that I found, I think it's common amongst YouTubers for some reason, but I'm finding a lot of YouTubers that I know are squirrel brain like we are. And we're all over the place and we'll be like, woo, 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 what's going on? And we get distracted easily. We have ADHD. I have found like 75% of the people I found on YouTube are ADHD in some form. Either high level ADHDs or they're really scatterbrained like I am. And you kind of got to bring some of that personality. That's why I love live streaming because I can bring more of that personality into the videos. Whenever I'm doing a recorded video, most of that gets edited out, so you don't get to see it. But when I'm live, you get to see it all the time, and you get to see exactly how crazy and weird I am at times. But when you're recording videos and you're editing all that out, don't edit it out so heavily that you edit out all the personality. That's one of the things that some people have even complained about some of my videos on, is I was editing out all of my personality. Sorry, catching up with the chat. I need a sticky note during my more informative stream so I don't lose the chat. Yeah, I have to do that sometimes too. And I have to look at there to see that I'm not watching myself on the camera over here and I'm looking at the camera over here. And I actually have a sticky note on the camera. I still forget to look at it because I can't read this sticky note. because I take my glasses off. See, I wear glasses. I actually wear bifocals, but I take them off because I can't stand the glare of my lighting on the camera, and I don't have enough room. I know how to set up the lighting, but I don't have the space. I'm working on clearing out the space so I can reset my lighting up in a different way so that I can wear my glasses and I can actually see what I'm doing. Yeah, testing different things. This is one of the things when I tell people, I talk about niching and strategies and all this stuff. Don't let not having any of that stuff stop you from starting. The first thing you need to do is get out there and test different niches, test different ideas, different styles of videos. You know, you know, I had a lot of struggles with things on the storage scavenger channel, but I love the fact that I went through all that experience. I learned a ton of things. I learned a lot about vlogging versus, because that's more of a vlog style video. When we're out there, we're in a storage unit, we're in the real world, we're showing things that we're doing in the real world, we're doing unboxings in the storage units. So when we're doing that kind of content, it's a totally different style than when I came over here and I started doing the YouTube content. It's a totally different style of video. I had to relearn how to plan and record and editing. Everything's different than it was in that niche. So I had to relearn a lot of skills that I was doing and relearn how to do a lot of things. And yes, I bring a bunch of the skills I developed in doing the scavenger over here, but over there we dealt pretty much with the lighting we had in the storage unit, whereas here I actually have some control over the lighting. And so I'm able to light my set. I've been working on lighting my set. So I've had to learn how to do all that stuff in just the last couple of months. I've had to learn how to, I started using the sound mixer and the mic. So I've been learning more about the audio and how to set all that stuff up. And I've been learning more editing tricks. I've been learning about editing techniques and things to do to keep people engaged longer and keep people watching our videos. And they're not where they need to be yet, but they are going up as we learn how to do those things better. One of the things that we had complaints on with the scavenger channel was our audio was really bad, and there was very little I could do about it when I was out in the field. But now that I'm in a studio, I can control that a lot more. And that's one of the things I love about this. But that's part of thinking like your viewer thinks. You have to look at every video as a newbie that's never heard of you, never seen you. Don't look at it from your own perspective and just doing what you like. Now, I believe in creating content in a balanced way. But today we're more talking about how to attract subscribers. So I'm not talking about, what type of content to create as much as, how you create the content that you're creating specifically to bring in subscribers. I do believe in having different goals for every video you put out. Some of them are going to be to build subscribers. And so you need those videos built in a way to attract new subscribers to your channel. You got to think about it when you're making those kind of videos. If your number one goal is to gain subscribers, you're going to be making videos for people that have never. You may be making videos that are also for the community that already exists on your channel. Those videos, the way you're going to talk to them, because they already know you, they already know your personality, the way you're going to talk to them, it's going to be a little bit different than if you're trying to build subscribers. So when you're thinking of building subscribers, you got to think like the algorithm thinks, and you got to think about what source of traffic is this video going to bring. For example, one of the things that we found in my own personal experience, I spent months and I was beating my head against the wall with this. I was fighting and struggling because I wasn't getting search traffic through the storage scavenger channel. Well, then I realized it's because I was targeting the wrong source of traffic for my channel. In other words, that type of content doesn't do well in search, but it does really well in recommended, browse, and suggested traffic. That's how most of the channels in those niches are getting their traffic, is through browse, suggested and recommended. So when I started optimizing more for that kind of traffic, for the browse traffic they recommended, less focus on keyword optimization and more focus on the compelling nature of my titles and thumbnails, then we started getting some more views. We started getting some more traction in those ways because we started showing up next to channels with 100,000 subscribers, 50,000 subscribers. When our videos started getting recommended from other auction channels, and we started seeing that a lot of our traffic was coming from other channels doing auctions, other channels doing storage units, other channels doing reselling advice. Those are the channels that were most of our traffic was coming from those other channels in the niche. And that's when we started growing without having to do so much networking. That's when we started growing organically and not having to pound the pavement every day to get more people to come see our channel. And with this, like, that's one of the things that I've looked at with this channel, Pia. I understand, because with this type of content, with the kind of content we do, some of the content we do is intentionally done to rank in search, but it can take several weeks or months to rank in search for some of those keywords. So that's part of why I haven't been worried about the slow growth, because most of the content I put out up to this point, the step-by-step tutorial type videos, those aren't going to do as well in browse. They're not going to do as well in recommended content naturally, just because of the nature of the content. But they do really, really well in search over time, but not necessarily right out of the gate. They can, if you get just the right keyword and you target it just the right way, you can get it ranking in search fairly quickly, but it can also take weeks or months or years, depending on how much competition there is for the good keywords on those phrases. So that's why I haven't worried about ranking or getting videos. I'm starting to get some traction. I'm starting to get some search traction with this channel. We're starting to get some new subscribers coming through this channel. But I knew it was going to take some time. That's why I wasn't worried about it. I knew it would take 3 to 6 months of consistent content to start showing up in search. I liked your podcast tutorials. Yeah. One of the things that I have thought about your channel, looking at your channel, is you're doing internet tips for beginners, but that's such a broad topic. And people that are going to be interested in how to set up Instagram and how to set up different things in Google are not going to necessarily be interested in how to set up a podcast or how to set up, so there's still some disconnect, and I still feel like it's kind of be scattered. But I think that's great if you just focus on one thing. Focus on podcasting tutorials or your Canva. Even the podcasting and the graphics is two separate audiences of people that you're targeting with that content. And that's one of those things, is thinking like your audience thinks. I like what Sean Cannell says: never put out a piece of content that a subscriber didn't subscribe for. And so if you're too broad in your niche, then you're going to be making content that people didn't subscribe for. This is why, and I understand, Adrian and I have kind of gone back and forth on this. Like, in the homesteading community, they might do a video on how to cook something, and then they're doing a video on how to do something with their chickens. Well, in that community, they might be interested in both, but you don't want to think about just the community that you already have. You have to think about who's going to find this video in search. And so I'm not saying you can't do that cooking video, but I would still title it in a way that they know it's targeted to homesteaders, not just any average person. And the reason why is because it would be like Dee's dark mode video. There's a lot of mobile creators that want to know how to turn on dark mode on their phone. And that's why he did the video. The problem is that most of the people looking to turn on how to turn on dark mode weren't creators. So just because creators are interested in the topic doesn't mean everybody's interested in the topic is going to be interested in creating content. I hope that doesn't confuse you. I hope that makes sense. That's why I say, and you can do that kind of content. So that's why, like when I did my how to start your YouTube channel series, My keyword was not how to set up a Google account. It was how to set up your YouTube channel, because even though the video was a basic how to start set up your Google account, and anybody wanting to set up a Google account could get value out of that video, I wanted to make sure it was titled in a way that would target YouTube creators and not anybody generally searching for YouTube or Google account setup. Yeah. In my Canva videos, some of them have done pretty good just right out of the gate. I've gotten some new subscribers through the Canva videos I did this last week. I've gotten some people that I didn't know coming to my videos. So, and looking at some of my traffic sources, some of them are coming from networking because I shared some of those in some of the Facebook groups that I'm in, as well as around other places. But I've also been getting some search traffic already, and I've gotten some subscribers through search on those videos. So, yeah, and you can do the cooking videos, Adrian. I'm just saying you have to think of the broader audience in that you might be bringing in a bunch of people that are interested in that recipe, but they're not interested in the rest of your homesteading content. So you have to title it in a way so that they understand that this video is for homesteaders because homesteading is your niche. And when you do it that way, you'll bring in the right audience and not bring in as many. You'll still probably, you might rank by default for some of those keywords on that recipe, but there's less of a disconnect with the audience you're building. And I've found one of the things that I found, there's no way to grow on YouTube just based on talking to people. As much as we try to keep it niche focused as much as we can, there's no way to really grow on YouTube without getting some dead subscribers. You're going to have some dead subscribers. It's going to happen. And there's just so many different reasons why. Maybe they lost interest in the niche. They might have been heavily interested in the niche when they subscribed and then they lost interest, or they just didn't make that connection with you, or they lost that connection with you, or you did something that upset them. I had subscribers that were really gung-ho and supporting me when I first started this channel. And because of some of the things I've said and done, they no longer follow me. And I have to be okay with that. And I have to, let them be them, and I'm going to be me, and we're not going to worry about that. We're just going to focus on doing what we can to move forward, because if they're disconnected from the content that I'm sharing, then that means there's a disconnect in they're not going to really like some of the content that I've got coming out. So moving forward, if they're not connected with the content I'm putting out, then they're not the right subscribers for me anyway. Hello, Perfecting Pearls. Thank you for joining us today. We're talking about attracting more subscribers to our channels. So the first one, again, was thinking like YouTube thinks and thinking in the context of creating that engagement, finding what it is that people are searching for. This is where search is important. This is where also recommended traffic. When you start thinking about how does YouTube judge your videos, you got to remember, we're always comparing our videos and their performance with other videos on our channel. But that's not what YouTube's looking at when they're recommending a video. I was watching Andrew Can on the TubeBuddy channel earlier, and they were talking about click-through rates and impressions. But the one area that he didn't talk about was watch time. And that's a huge part of your traffic strategy is watch time. You've got to get that watch time up, that watch time percentage going, keeping them engaged in your content for as long as possible. And the kind of the rule of thumb that most people that I talk to say is about 45 to 50% of your video is where your average watch time needs to be in order for YouTube to continue recommending it in search and recommended content in suggested traffic. If you're fall below about a 45%. And that's just kind of an average, but it's also YouTube is looking at this video. So say I put out this video on Canva earlier this week, and they're going to look at that and they're going to say, okay, this video had a 12% click-through rate, which is good. But I might be going up against other videos that have a 15% click-through rate. So if they have a 15% click-through rate and I have a 12%, even though my 12% is above average for the platform, for that keyword, the ones that have the higher click-through rate are going to outrank my channel. Same with your watch time. I might have that 45 to 50% watch time. A couple of my videos this week did have that 45 to 50% watch time. But if those other channels have a 70% watch time and I've got a 45% watch time, YouTube is more likely to recommend their content over mine. So you got to think, you're not comparing your videos to your other videos on your channel. YouTube's comparing your video's performance to the other videos that it is being placed up against. So those other videos that are being in that recommended, that's what you're being compared to. Those other videos that are showing up in that search term, that's what you're being compared against when YouTube shows your videos and they decide whether to continue showing your videos to more people. So you have to look at what the other videos are doing. That's why I like TubeBuddy. TubeBuddy has a tool that you can see kind of some of that information on those channels. One of the things that I do in my initial stage when I'm planning my video is I actually watch the first 3 or 4 videos. I don't just look at their titles and thumbnails to decide how I'm going to do it. I actually watch the videos and see what those videos are saying. And then I see what questions people are asking that's not being answered in those videos. And I try to answer some of those questions. That's why I go through the comments. So that's one of the things that we want to do. We want to bring our content into alignment, because if we're giving YouTube what YouTube wants, which is viewer satisfaction, they're going to show your video to more people, and that's going to attract more subscribers to your channel. So then the second one, how do you get them to subscribe once they're on your channel? You have to feel how your audience feels. You have to connect with their emotions. This is something that's so huge. This is something I talk about with thumbnail design, with your titles, with the way you present your content. You have to understand, how does the target audience that you're creating this content for feel about the problem you're trying to help them solve? When you can make that connection with how they feel now, there's 2 points of the feeling. One, how they feel now, and 2, how they want to feel when they solve this problem. This is where we do the big, bold claim and why we use so much emotion in our thumbnails. There's 2 sides of the thumbnail emotions that we use. One is how they feel right now, and you want to bring that emotion to being in how they feel right now. Or the other side is how they want to feel in relationship to the problem you're trying to help them solve. And when you can connect emotionally, this is where, you might do the shocked face or the excited face, but if that's not the right emotion for the problem you're trying to solve, then it's going to make a disconnect and people aren't going to click and watch. But if you connect with how they feel trying to solve this problem, then you can bring more people into your channel. And then when you get them in that hook, you need to reiterate that feeling. You need to connect in your opening of your video within that first minute. You need to connect with not just what the problem is that you're going to help them solve, but how they feel about it. This is why we use stories so much. I talk about stories all the time. This is why stories are important, because you can express through a story how you felt when you faced the same problem and make that connection with the viewer. and make that connection with them, when you connect with them on an emotional level, you're going to attract more people to you. When you open yourself up emotionally and share your struggles, that's why I titled this channel when I first started it, and YouTube didn't like it. My initial channel was My Video Journey. It was all about my experiences as a content creator. With my storage scavenger channel, I noticed when my live streams, when I stopped being, strict and professional, and I started sharing my personal stories, when I started sharing my personal struggles, how my ADD was affecting my reselling business, how the things that were going on with my wife and her being sick and in the hospital, and things, the struggles that we were going through and what we were doing to overcome them. This is the thing. We wanted to share the feeling of how we felt dealing with that problem, but then also how we made the transition to overcoming that problem. If you just share your problems all the time, you start being a complainer, and that drives people away. That doesn't attract people to you. You might get some short term benefit of people coming to you, but over time, if you keep doing that, you're going to drive more people away. But if you show them, hey, this is a problem we faced, and this is how we felt about it, and this is how we dealt with it, and this is how we overcame it, and this is what we've put in place now to avoid making that mistake in the future, that's powerful. That's what's going to connect with people. That's going to bring more people into your funnel. This is going to get more people to watching you. This is something, when I realized this with the storage scavenger, our channel went from having about 150, 200 subscribers, doing a live stream and getting about 5 to 10 people on a live stream, to where we went up to 800 subscribers. We got to where we get 40, 50 people watching our live streams. We get over 200 or 300 views on the replay on our live streams, because we started sharing our story. We started sharing our personality. We started sharing our struggles, but also how we were overcoming those struggles. And that's where I started getting emails. Like I talk about this all the time. More than money and the sales that we make through our auctions and our sales and the stuff, which I appreciate all that. And I love the fact that we get that kind of stuff. But more than that, when I got an email from one of our viewers that said, "You saved my life," and then they told me their story and what part of what I said helped them to make a shift in their life that saved their life, that blows me away. That to me is way more important than the fact that I made a couple of $100 at an auction. That for me is more important than the fact that I gained another 20 subscribers through doing a video. The fact that I touched one person's life so much that I was able to help them make a change in their life. And when you start looking at your content that way, when you start looking at, can I just reach one person? Can I do something and share a story, share something that's going to help somebody avoid this pain in their life, or get out of this pain in their life, or avoid it completely? If I can do that, and I can just reach that one person that needs this, when you do that, you're going to start reaching more than just one person. When you can do that, you're going to start reaching a lot of people. It may take time. It's not going to happen overnight. I'm not looking for overnight success. That's why I'm not worried about the fact that I'm not even at 200 subscribers, even though I've been going 3 times longer than Adrian. I love you, Adrian. But I'm more focused on, what is the story? What is the content? That, and I haven't been promoting my channel as much as Adrian has. And I've always said that, I just got to my 30 videos last week, and I said I was going to start doing a lot more promotion after I got to 30 videos. We got there last week. So now we're working on starting to do some things to do more promotion of the channel and trying to get the word out more and doing some more things to reach out to more people. Well, I have multiple channels, but this is the only one I'm working on right now. So I have the storage scavenger, which I haven't posted on since November. Um, and then I also have the Prosperous Caregivers, which is my wife and I's channel for special needs kids. And then I have a couple of other channels that I don't share publicly. Um, some of them are test channels that I use for testing different things, and I try to keep my YouTube growth people off of those channels just because not that I'm trying to hide what I'm doing. It's just because I want to keep clean tests. And I still got some subscribers that found me. I think Adrian found some of them. But at one time, when I started this channel, I had 5 active channels. I've started over a dozen channels on YouTube, but I had 5 active channels. That's part of why I had such slow growth, is because I was focused on 5 different channels. At the start of the year, we decided we were going to focus all of our time and attention on one channel, and we decided this is the channel we're going to focus our time and attention on. So that's what we've been doing since January. And that's the thing. When we started the year, we were at 50 subscribers. Almost over half of my subscribers right now came since the 1st of January. When we started January, we were just over 50 subscribers. Now we're at like almost 120. So over half, almost 2/3 of our subscribers has happened in the last month since we started focusing on one channel. Are you sure? Yeah, I'm sure. So, that's one of the things, and that's one of the things that I really recommend. If you're a small channel, focus on one channel, focus on one thing and building up one channel. Even with this show, I tried to put this show on its own channel, and then some friends of mine, like Adrian, talked me off the ledge and talked me into, why are you putting 2 YouTube growth channels together? Why don't you just do it all on one channel? And so I focused and I decided, okay, I'm going to do the Inspired Tuber show all on one channel. And so that's the second one is, we want to think and feel the same way our subscribers do. We want to think like YouTube thinks and think like our subscribers think. So we have to bring our thoughts and our emotions into alignment with attracting the right people to our channel. That's what it's all about. And then we get into the third area, which is the spirit. And this is where I get weird. I believe in a lot of spiritual things, and you can take this for what you want, but I believe in the law of attraction, and I've been practicing the law of attraction for a long time. And this is part of where the idea of alignment came from for me, because for me, a lot of people think of the law of attraction, and a lot of people teach the law of attraction as thinking about bringing what you want into your life brings it into your life. And that's not what it is at all. It's about alignment, and it's about being in alignment mentally, emotionally, and spiritually with bringing that you want into your life and having it in your life. So bringing yourself into an alignment and a vibration. See, I personally believe that you're already connected with that 1,000 subscribers that you want, with that 100,000 subscribers. You're already connected to them. You just have to bring your energy into alignment with them. And when you can connect with them and bring them to your channel, then you're going to experience growth. I experienced a lot of the growth on my scavenger channel in less than a month. Honestly, there's a lot of people that are like, oh, it took you this long to grow. I took a long break in there. I took 4 months that I didn't post any content. And then when we went back to it, within a month, I went from just under 500 subscribers to almost 900 subscribers in less than a month. Again, just finding that alignment, connecting with people on an emotional level, sharing our stories, just opening ourselves up, doing a lot of networking. A lot of that was done through networking. We would get out on other people's live streams and just talk about lessons we had learned in the storage auction business over the last year. Things that we had learned of mistakes that people needed to avoid if they wanted to start doing storage auctions. those kind of things. It was very little of going out and telling people, hey, come subscribe to our channel. No, it was going out and just providing value. It was getting out and doing auctions and bringing value to the customers on other auction channels and getting out on other auction channels and selling stuff and recommending people and stuff and showing off what kind of stuff we had. And then those people were subscribing to our channel. Again, we didn't wait for the audience to come to us. We went and found who had the audience and got in front of them. And then we just allowed those, and it's very low key. I've always been a very low key self promotion. I've never been involved in and agreed with the whole mentality of everybody subscribe to everybody, because that hurts your channel. But I do go out there and say, if you're interested in the things that we're doing, and if you want to watch the content, I make the option available with an invitation, but I don't go out and push it. I see some people that get up on live streams and just everything that they do and everything that they say is all about come and watch my show, come and watch my show, come and see my stream. And it's all self-promotion. It's not at all about serving the people there. I've always believed, and those of y'all that know me have seen me in some of the other live streams. I've been on with Johnny, Cajun Roots Reseller a couple of times. I've been on with Victoria and Nana Tink. I've been on with Donna and T. And I'm always in there just sharing what I know with the people that are watching their channels. And because of that, I get quite a few people almost every time I do that come and subscribe to our channels. And they come back and they watch our content. They come back and they share. And then they share our content out with other people, and they get other people to come and watch our channel because of that connection that we made. And because we try to be authentic, we try to be real. We try to say, hey, this is the best practices. This is what we need to do. And this is some of the things that we fail at doing ourselves. And this is what we're trying to do to overcome those failures. I think one of the most important things you can do as a content creator is share your failures and what you've learned from them. Because the reason you have failures in your life is to learn a lesson. Yeah. Bye, Pearl. I can understand that. You had surgery on your thyroid, and it can take some time to heal from that. If you want to start a channel, though, hello, Dragon Value. Hope you're doing well. If you do want to start a channel, I have a whole step-by-step series on how to do that. But, starting a channel is not for everybody. But it's also, I really want you to think about, why do you want your own YouTube channel? Why? And if you have the time, Adrian, I think you're a mod, so you can drop a link. Y'all should go and watch Adrian's live stream from earlier today. She was actually talking about this. Why do you want to start on YouTube? Having clarity of why you want to be on YouTube is so important. And that's one of the things she talked about. It's also going to affect your growth. If you are on YouTube for certain reasons, you may grow faster than other channels. If you're on YouTube for different reasons, we all have different reasons and different ways of doing. Hey, Jeannie. Here's the thing with that. I've had a lot of people tell me a lot of things I should do in my life. And I spent a lot of time trying to do things in my life because other people told me I should. And I've gotten to a point where I don't care what they think. And so when people try to tell me what they should, I just tell them thank you. And if I feel like I should do it, then I believe in listening to yourself more than you listen to other people. You already know inside of you, if you have the calling, if you have the drive to start a YouTube channel. I'm not one of these people that's going to tell you that everybody should have one. In fact, I see a lot of people on YouTube that shouldn't be on YouTube. They're just wasting their time. They're not doing very good. They're not growing. They're not building a channel, but they're doing what they want to do. So I'm not here to tell them that they should stop, but I see people that should not be on YouTube. Aw. And Adrian just shared the link in the chat to her live stream from earlier today. I really recommend everybody watch that. It was a really, really great show. And she talked about understanding your why, which is a whole nother show. And I've actually done a couple of shows on understanding your why, but she did a really great show today on that. So I did not give you a thumbs down. I promise. I give you a thumbs up on both my channels. But I do very little to based on what other people tell me anymore. I make my decisions. I do listen to what other people tell me, but I make a lot of decisions through meditation. I have a lot of spiritual practice. I listen to myself first. I listen and I go inside myself and I listen. Does this feel right to me? Does this resonate with me? Is this the right path for me? Because it can be a great idea. I can tell you, I have business ideas every day. My wife, she's coming up with business ideas all the time. And then she gets mad at me because I don't want to drop everything and pursue the next new idea she's come up with. We both come up with new ideas. And some of those ideas could be $1 million ideas. And I can even tell you how to make $1 million off of that idea. I could plan the whole thing out. But I can't follow them all. I can't pursue them all. There's just not enough hours in the day. And so I have to really focus and hone in. When I made the decision, because when I started this channel, even my goal, my job was not to switch immediately to this channel. My intention in my mind when I started this channel was I was going to build it up just a little bit here and there, occasionally add content to it. But my goal was to keep running on the storage scavenger. But then as I was doing my meditations, as I was listening to myself, something inside of me shifted and something inside of me told me this is where you need to be. This is what you're supposed to be doing right now. And you need to go all in on this. And so that's when I decided to make the shift and start focusing on this channel. Because this is something that I believe in. I believe in following your own inner guidance because your inner guidance knows. Part of this is, for me, it's a spiritual thing. I believe we were born with a purpose, and inside you already know what that purpose is. You just don't understand it consciously. And so I look inside because that's where the guidance and the direction that keeps me on purpose, that keeps me on track with why I'm here and helps me go in the right way. That doesn't mean those other things I did were wrong or bad. They were experiences that I needed to get to where I am today. I wouldn't be doing the content I'm doing right now if I hadn't spent the last year in the storage scavenger. I wouldn't have the confidence I have right now to sit here and talk to people and to be able to talk to people if I hadn't spent 6 years working in the absolute worst job that I've ever had in my life, which is working in a prison. But I learned so much about myself in that environment and in that job. One of the things I had to learn was it's not the environment for me. But I learned so much about myself that I knew it was a necessary part of my journey to go through that. And so I did. And I embraced it. And I learned a lot from it. And I'm a better person today because of it in some areas. There's some areas of my life, emotionally, there's some areas of myself that I'm still working my way through. No, I live in Texas, just south of Austin, and I worked at the Kyle Correctional Facility. I started as a correctional officer, worked my way up to a sergeant and then a lieutenant. It's a privately run prison, and it was not a very good environment. It's one of the worst jobs I've ever had. It did not fit my personality. And I have a lot of respect for the people that work there, especially through this pandemic. Like I tell you, back in like February, March of last year, they were trying to get me to come back because I left working there in November of last year. Or the year before last, 2019. And there's not enough money in the world to get me to ever walk back in that place again. I don't care how broke and desperate I ever get, I will go find something else to do. Good night, Pia. Thank you for joining us. So, for me, a lot of what I do is that spiritual journey. And I'm not telling anybody what to believe, but I believe in, because I have that spiritual focus, I believe we're already connected with the right subscribers. We just have to bring our vibration and our energy into alignment with connecting with those people. And the way to do that is following those other two, thinking like your subscribers, potential subscribers think. When you can align your thought processes with their thought processes, you can attract the right people to you. When you can align yourself emotionally with your subscribers, you can attract those people to your channel, and you see explosive growth. And when you start finding that alignment, without even having to really think about it, when you start finding that alignment, where they hang out online, and you can go to those places, collaborate with those places, and think outside the box. One of the things that I see a lot of YouTubers doing is they're trying to collaborate with like a finite group of people, and they're usually like the top channels in their niche, and they're trying to collaborate with the wrong people, not necessarily in the right time, in the right place, or in the right way. One, bring the value. Two, think outside of the just your tiny little box of your niche on YouTube. I'm already connecting with, my content is kind of specific to YouTube, but more content driven. And it's more about creating more engaging content no matter where you're at. And yeah, I kind of direct it specifically towards YouTubers, but it can be the same things I teach here can be applied to whether you're creating content on YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, doing a blog, because it's the content principles, and the principles of creating great content are the same no matter what kind of content you're creating. So start thinking outside of the box. I'm trying to get on some podcasts. I'm trying to do some guest posts on some people's blogs. Having some friends in that space helps, because 10 years ago, I was teaching how to create content for blogs and podcasts. So I have connections in those spaces already. Now I'm focused on YouTube, but back then I focused on blogging and podcast, and a lot of people and connections that I had are still there. So now I'm trying to, talk to those people and working on some things, because I know enough about my target audience to know that some of those people have my target audience already following them. Good night, Dragon Value. Thank you for joining us. I hope you're having a fantastic night. Your great grandmother died in Grant County, Oregon. Oh, okay. Well, that's cool. So, but one of the things that we want to do as we try to gain more subscribers, we try to build more viewers and more people coming to watch our channels. It's finding that alignment and getting more in tune with the audience. The more you can know about who your ideal audience is, figure out what their age is. Figure out what their age is, because that's going to determine the language you use to talk to them. If I'm talking to 50 to 60-year-olds, it's going to be a lot different than if I'm talking to 20-year-olds, because they use different language. They talk in different ways. So you need to understand as much as you can about your audience and bring your content into alignment with how they talk, how they think, how they feel. When you do that, you're going to bring more people to you. It's going to happen. It may not happen overnight. It may take a while, especially if you're making a pivot like Pia recently did. She made a pivot in her content, and a lot of the new content is out of alignment with her old subscribers. So those people don't come back and watch her videos. But she's already building a new subscriber base. And eventually that new subscriber base will overtake the number of people that she had in her subscriber count that wasn't watching her content. But it takes some time to do that and to get that new subscriber base going, to get YouTube to understand this new direction your channel is going and who to serve that content to. You wish you could say you knew where that was. You don't. Oh, okay. You're talking about Tajini in Oregon because you're in Oregon. Good night, Matt. Thanks for joining us. So, that was kind of what I wanted to talk about tonight. If there are any questions in the chat, if you're watching this on the replay, leave me any questions you have in the comments below. And speaking of questions, any of you that don't know, if you haven't seen my homepage, go check out my homepage after the show. We're doing a live Q&A on Saturday right here, 10:30 p.m. And you can go check that out. I have a form to fill out to submit your questions, as well as you can set the reminder for the live stream. We're going to be doing questions and answers on your YouTube questions, anything about YouTube and creating content, finding your niche, anything like that. So you have to, I understand where you're coming from, Janine, but as a content creator, you want to be in alignment with truth, but you also have to realize there's a lot of people that don't know what they don't know. And you have to meet people where they're at if you want to take them on the journey to finding their truth. And the other thing is, it's a fictional movie, but one of the best things that I ever learned from came from Star Wars. And it's when Obi-Wan says, many of the truths we face rely greatly on our point of view. A lot of the things you think of as truth are only truth to you because of your point of view. There's very few things that are absolute truth in this world. Very, very few. Most people only think that they're telling the truth because of their point of view. But when you look at it from a different point of view, you see a different truth. What I'm trying to say is you have to find the truth for your audience and take them on that journey to find a different truth. This is our job as a creator, as an educator. As an educator, you have to understand where your audience is and where you want to take them. You can't, if I was to go on a trip to go somewhere, I have to know where I'm at and I have to know where I'm going so I can plot a course to get me there. I can't just jump in the car and drive any random direction and wind up at the destination I want to get to. I got to plot a course, but I got to know where I'm starting and I got to know where I'm ending. If I turn on my GPS and tell it to get me somewhere, it has to know where I'm at and it has to know where I'm going to plot the right course for me to get there. And that's our job as a creator. We're like the GPS for our audience. So we have to know where they're coming from, where they're starting, and we have to know where we want to take them to. And then plot the course to get them there. That's our job with our content. This is why I say you have to connect with where they're at. Mentally, emotionally, spiritually, connect with where they're at. And then you can take them to where you want them to go. And people will go on that journey with you. This is where we share stories. Because we share our stories where we had a different truth. If you think about it, every story of pain is you are in one point of truth with your pain. And then as you went through this journey, you learned a different truth, a different perspective. And so the pain went away as you learned a different perspective and you learned new strategies to do things differently so that you didn't have to face that pain anymore. That's the understanding. But in order to get them to that journey, you have to meet them where they're at. Because if you just start spouting the truth where you're at, very few people are going to listen to you. Because the people that you want to help aren't hearing you because they don't understand the gap. You have to close the gap between where you're at and where they're at. And the only way to do that is meet them where they're at, and then you bring them to where you're at. You can't be over here talking to them over here and expect them to just run to you. You have to meet them over here and bring them to where you are. I hope that makes sense. What category do you use? I put mine in how to and style. I just set the default there. And 90% of the people I've asked D about this, I've asked Daniel about this, I've asked Nick about this, and they've all given me the same answer, which is that it doesn't matter because YouTube categorizes you where they decide you need to go anyway. Categories and tags are functions that used to have a lot of importance in YouTube when YouTube first started. The problem is they're in the core programming of the YouTube system. They would have to recode the entire platform in order to remove them. But they're basically irrelevant nowadays. So they still have them there just because they don't want to rebuild the entire platform from scratch. But they don't put any weight into them, so it doesn't really matter what you choose. But the properly is, it really doesn't matter because YouTube discounts where you put it anyway, and they put it where they want to put it. They pretty much ignore that in their algorithm. Their algorithm puts very little weight in that. That's why it's not important because the algorithm doesn't really pay attention to it. They categorize it the way they want to. The categories, that's why the categories are so, if you think about it, when YouTube first started, it wasn't nearly as big and expansive as it is now. I don't think that they imagined it would be where it is now. So they didn't do better job categorizing their content when they built the initial platform. People were not that interested in gardening until they realized the food chain could be interrupted. Now they want to learn. Well, I wouldn't say that because I know a lot of gardening channels who have done really, really well. It just may be the platform. I don't know Facebook very well. I'm on Facebook, but I don't have a big following on Facebook. I haven't done a lot of effort and intention. I'm spending most of my effort on learning YouTube's platform. I'll worry about learning Facebook and how it all works later. But I know that there are tons of people in the gardening niche on the different platforms. So it's just a matter of figuring out where they're hanging out and connecting with the right people. And doing your content in a way, again, that connects with where the audience is as far as their understanding. Think about this too. I work with a lot of people on YouTube growth. But if I'm talking to somebody that's never published a video, that's never recorded a video, that's never edited a video, and I start talking about the algorithms and, how YouTube does things and some of the more advanced level strategies, which is stuff that I'm studying myself to understand it better. If I just tell them, talk to them from where I'm at, the level of understanding I have, then they're not going to connect with me. They're not going to watch my content. They're not going to come back and watch my videos. And I'm probably not going to be able to do much to help them because I'm talking way above their level of understanding. But if I come down and I simplify things and I talk about, how YouTube systems work, because most people understand systems. And I talk about here, this is a physical thing you can do. Here's a step-by-step tutorial. You click here, you click here, you click here, you do this. Now you have a video published. And I break it down into the step-by-step way. I can get people off the ground and started with their YouTube channel. I have a whole series on how to do that. But if I start talking about, all the complex things that behind how YouTube runs, they're not going to understand it, because they're not at that level of understanding to begin comprehending what I'm even talking about and how all that stuff works. So, there's people that talk about that kind of stuff all the time, but they're talking to a higher level audience than I am. This is one of the important things. One of the things that I did a few weeks ago was understanding skill development and understanding not only where you're at with skill development, but where your audience is in their level of skill development with whatever you're trying to teach them. You have to understand what level of skill development they're at so that you can communicate them in a way that they understand. Because if they don't know what they don't know, then you're not going to connect with them in a way that's going to bring people. And that may be why you struggle to get views, get fans, get people, because you're talking to them in a language they don't understand. Yeah, it might be location. And some of it too, some of it's location, but some of it's just connecting with the right people. And some of it is there are more people. It's become more generalized. The pandemic's helped a lot of people in a lot of businesses. There was a lot of people who may have had an interest in gardening, but they didn't have the time. And all of a sudden they're sitting at home with nothing to do. And they had all this time on their hands. So all of a sudden they're going to start studying gardening because that's something they can do at home. And it's something that can take their mind off of the craziness that's going on in the world outside of them. Hello, Scully. Hope you're having a fantastic day. You should go back and watch the replay. We've been talking for a while. Scully was all about my eyeballs today. I think he might want to mount them. Your eyes. Your eyes. Well, that's good. We're testing out Restream. Shelly Saves the Day got us a 30-day trial of the Pro plan for Restream. So I'm testing it out. We just started it yesterday. So we're checking it out to see how it works for us. And I've been working on my soundboard. I think Brandon's just using a USB mic, and I've started using the soundboard. I have a Behringer Xenix Q802 USB soundboard. So I have an XLR cable going into mic, and I can turn up the gain a little bit, and I can control the sound a lot with it. I can turn up and down the compression. So there's a lot of cool things, and I'm still learning how to use it. If you want to know how to do all that stuff, check out White Noise Studios. Marlon, I met him through some of my Facebook groups on YouTube Growth, and he's got a lot of videos on how to dial in and adjust your sound quality. And so that's where I've been learning how to do a lot of this stuff myself. You have a voice that condenses well. Some people do. Also, it depends on the gear you're using. And some mics, who was Luria from Live Streaming Pros just a few days ago, did a video on different microphones. And one of the things that they were talking about is there's not a cookie cutter solution to microphones. Some people sound better on different microphones. So you really have to pick the microphone that's good for your voice. And me, I just picked up this microphone like 3 or 4 years ago, and it's good, but when I upgrade, I'm going to pay more attention to the actual mic I'm using. Yeah, you have a good voice. I like your voice, and especially for the kind of content you do. Yeah, I love Marlon. I've been watching a lot of his stuff on Audacity and uh, sound stuff, and been going through some of his videos on how to. And I've contacted him a couple of times so that I can help. I'm really trying to learn how to get my sound better for my videos, for my audio, and everything. And I can't hear it here, so I have to go back and watch the replay to see how I sound. Oh, so what's everybody else up to this fun Wednesday afternoon? We're doing good. Um, we went to, for those of y'all that don't know, I didn't do the stream last week because we were in Dallas, and we were actually there for a MRI for my daughter, and the MRI went well. We're waiting on an appointment with a neurosurgeon to kind of go over the results, but we got the initial results report in. What they were looking for was not present, which is a good thing and possibly a bad thing. So we're talking to a neurosurgeon to kind of, now we know what they were looking for was not there. Now we got to look at, okay, if what they were looking for is not there now, what's the next thing to look at, and what's the next step? Trying to figure out some of her issues. So but it was a good trip overall. We learned a lot. We had a good time, but I couldn't get internet with a crap. So even, I mean, some of y'all saw me on some live streams. I was in and out because my internet was cutting in and out all the time we were there. So that's why I never did the live stream last week. Um, I just couldn't get a stable enough connection to go live. That's one of the downsides to traveling the way we do, is I don't really have any control with the hotels over how good their internet is. What is a maverick? So, but she's doing okay. She's doing all right as we're back home. Everybody's kind of getting settled back in, and the toddler went back to school this week, so that's always been fun. And then, of course, I was supposed to be working in my own storage unit this week. That was Jessica and I set down this whole plan, and we were supposed to be working on my storage unit this week. We forgot to look at the weather. So now it's like 30 degrees outside, which is not supposed to be that cold. We're in Texas for a reason. You know, it don't get that cold down here. Oh, I'm not going to touch that with a 10-foot pole. I get in trouble. So I was supposed to be working in my storage unit, trying to get some stuff cleaned out and out of the way and sorting out some stuff. And now it's in the 30s and it's going to be cold for at least the next week. So I don't know when I'm going to get over to my storage, but I've got to get my room cleaned out so I can get my lighting set up better and do some more things for what I'm trying to do. I did a bunch of writing today. We've got a lot of things going on in the background. We've had some more. We got the last video. It's already uploaded. It'll be going live tomorrow or we got 2 more videos. We got one more that's actually a Canva kind of step-by-step tutorial. We're going to be showing how to do text fix. And then we have our follow-up video. It's going to be some tips and tricks to make Canva better and easier, using some of the hacks that we've learned to use Canva faster and make our thumbnail generation just a little bit faster and easier. 30 is the high tomorrow. Yeah, 40 is supposed to be our high tomorrow. It's supposed to get down into the 20s, but it's supposed to get up into the 40s tomorrow. But that's really cold for here in Texas. So, y'all got a crazy conversation going on down there. Not going to touch that conversation. You never heard that term before. Now you just have donkeys and chickens and bees. Oh. So, all right. Well, this has been fun. Thank you, everybody, for joining us and having a good chat tonight. If anybody's got any questions, last chance before we cut it off and go home for the night. All right, that's crazy. All right. Well, thank you guys so much for joining us. This has been a fun show. I hope that this is helping you to understand more on some of the mental, emotional, spiritual things that you can bring into your funnel, into your actions to attract more subscribers to your channel and help you start growing as a YouTuber. Remember, we try to help you be inspired as a creator so you can inspire your audience. And I hope that this is going to help you to do that. And as we always say, progress beats perfection. Try to be better today than you were yesterday. If you do, that's going to help you continue.